Good morning and welcome to Immigration Fridays. Today we have a question that has been asked time and time again. So we've been doing some live videos on people coming into the UK. But as you may know, if you've been following our Immigration Fridays, you know that Tulia is an organization that's based in the United Kingdom. And we provide advice, support, and assistance for migrants living in the UK and also people who are planning to come to the United Kingdom. Most of our work is done here in England, and we serve people who are renewing their status, who are applying for British citizenship, who are applying for a sponsorship license, who are applying for all the different types of ways to come into the United Kingdom and to stay in the United Kingdom. My background is I've been a solicitor for since I was admitted in England and Wales in 2003, admitted in Zimbabwe in 1998. So I've been a solicitor for many, many, many years. And I've provided immigration advice in the UK, initially in RBM Solicitors, which was a firm that I ran for many years. And I started a new type of business model, which is called Tulia, originally Migrant Family Support, which provides a combination of services. So I often talk about this at the beginning to reinforce what we're doing, what our brand is about, as it's a new brand. So we provide four services where we charge, where we provide expertise based on our proven track record in the field, our experience and my experience over years and years and years. And so we provide services that people pay for. But on the other hand, we provide services for people who cannot afford to pay. So most of the people that we support pro bono and for free come from referrals from other charities in our city, in Coventry, and wider afield, Buckinghamshire, Aylesbury, Scotland. We get referrals from all over the country. And we also get referrals from local councils, from local authorities. To fund our non-profit work, we use some of our profits to fund that, but we also get grants to do some of the projects that we do. Some of the projects we are not funded, but some of them we are. So we do a combination of work. So we do a combination of work. And to make our organization sustainable, we do our own trading work, and that makes us sustainable because grants come for a project and for their time limited, whereas the income that we generate from our trading is income that can continue coming so that we can do the great work that we're doing here in the United Kingdom. Please visit our website. Excuse me, I've had a cough this week. Please visit our website. Click on our donate page if you'd like to donate to our work. If you'd like to donate in any shape or form, please go onto our website, which is tulia.org.uk, and you'll see on there a page for you to donate. When people are destitute and desperate, they don't even have money to top up their phone to speak to us. They don't even have money to catch the bus to come to us. They may not have food. They may, people are in desperate and dire situations. And we help people who are totally alone in this country. This country, UK, can be cold and difficult. But I have learned so much from other organizations doing this fantastic work. And I'm grateful for the privilege that we can make a difference. We have vacancies. We're looking for volunteers. And we also have some paid positions. Please visit our website and go and look on opportunities. We've got some vacancies on there. Please follow us on our social media, on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, so that you can stay up to date with some of the fantastic things we're doing. opportunities that are coming up so that we can work together because we go far together. So, right. So I'm going to go right in. Thank you so much for joining. Spoken for 5 minutes already on what Tulia is about. Thank you for joining and welcome everyone. Please like this video. Please share it and please watch. So thank you for being here. Right. So we are I'm answering a question today. I've got myself back on. We've had questions from people who live here on how can I bring my parents. So we have inquiries from all over the world. From people asking, I'm settled, I'm a British citizen, I've got refugee status, or I've got indefinite leave to remain, and I want to know how I can bring my parents here to live with me. So that's a question that we often get. So the adult dependent rules are rules which govern that area. So everything that is there on how to, you find it on the gov.uk website. It's there, but sometimes these rules can seem very complicated and very difficult to actually be able to interpret them and know how to apply them to your situation. And that's what our Immigration Fridays are all about. It's a time where I usually come on, or with my colleague or any other colleagues, or anyone else from our team, to just go through some of the rules and to break it down in a way that's easy to digest and in a way that's easy to apply. So, right, if you are a British citizen, the adult dependent rules, they cover all adult dependents, so not just your parents. So anyone who's over 18 who is your relative and your dependent, and it's covered in the adult dependent rules, which are on the gov.uk website, where you can get these requirements. Now, I want to say that this application is notoriously difficult to prove, extremely difficult to be able to get entry clearance for adult dependents. It's extremely difficult. So the sponsor themselves must be 18 years or over, as well as either a British citizen, present and settled in the UK with refugee status or humanitarian protection, or be a person in the UK with limited leave under Appendix EU. Yeah. So those are the requirements for you as the sponsor. So you will see that this doesn't cover skilled workers. It doesn't cover people who have got discretionary leave to remain. So those people are not covered in this. And so there's a requirement that the person that you're bringing, that over 18, it could be your child, it could be your parent, that they, number one, require long-term personal care as a result of age, illness, or disability. So as a result of age, illness, or disability, the applicant, who's the person that you are bringing, must require long-term personal care to perform everyday tasks. For example, washing, dressing, cooking. And this means that they're incapable of performing such everyday tasks for themselves. Right? And the situation must have arrived at recently, such as maybe like a serious accident, a stroke, or it could be a result of deterioration over time. So the type of evidence that's required is medical evidence, and the Home Office verify this as well. So, nom dosho, please. They do verify this. So it needs to be medical evidence. And there's actual information and details on the type of evidence that's needed. So number one, that person needs to require long-term personal care as a result of age, illness, or disability. I often have people asking me, what about somebody who has mental illness, somebody who's addicted to drugs? There's parents who have young adult children who are addicted to drugs. So that doesn't qualify as long-term personal care. It's very explicit in the requirements that long-term personal care. So it could have started as a result of drug addiction and then escalated to a place where they're now mentally incapacitated, that they cannot look after themselves. They can't feed themselves. They can't wash themselves. They've really deteriorated to such a state. So that's number one, right? Number two is that, which makes it even trickier, you see. It's very tricky that they're unable to receive the required level of care in the country that they're living. So unable to receive the required level of care in the country that they're living. So the application must establish that the applicant has no access to the required level of care in the country that they're living, even with the practical and financial help of a sponsor. So you have to show that you can't get a nurse aide to look after them. You cannot get a domestic worker to look after them. You cannot get the required level of care that they need. So this could be because it's not available and there's no person in that country who could reasonably provide it, or because it's not affordable. It's not affordable. So this required level of care is a matter that's objectively assessed with reference to the specific needs of the applicant. So they could require some specialist care, some specialist equipment. I've done a couple of these cases, and only one that's succeeded. So I don't do them often since the change of these rules, because it's so difficult to prove. So it was a mom who had a stroke, and she was living in Zimbabwe, and she had a stroke. She was bedridden, and her daughter was trying to go there and come back, and it was just proving to be impossible. Domestic workers were coming, but they were stealing from her. They were not looking after mom properly. It was so difficult. And she couldn't find someone because they were taking advantage of her. So she was trying. They didn't have the skills for moving and handling, and and even it was very, very difficult. And so she was able to get mom here. So it's difficult, but it's possible when you have the right facts. So the reason why I'm doing this is so that people can get an understanding of what the law requires, so that you don't just make an application that's doomed to fail, and then you're stuck after paying a lot, because this application really does cost even a lot to put it in. So if an applicant has got more than one close family member in the country where they're living, these family members are then expected to pool resources. So they ask information about who is there, what other family members do you have. They draw information from your own application that you made. So you may have made an application for asylum and put all your family members. You may have made visitors visa applications for other family members. So please don't lie in these applications, because the Home Office has got information. They draw it from previous applications, from visitor visa applications. So lying doesn't really get you very far. So I would say don't lie. Look at your facts and see what's available for you. Right? So they would look at cultural factors, gender. They would look at all those things to see what is available, what is possible. Then you also have to show that you can adequately maintain and accommodate and care for. So accommodation, your maintenance, the accommodation which the sponsor, the one who's applying for the person in the country where they're coming from, must be owned or occupied exclusively by the sponsor, so you could be renting, but it needs to be occupied exclusively by the sponsor. So you wouldn't be able to bring someone into a shared accommodation. And the addition of the applicant to the accommodation must not contravene UK's statutory requirements on overcrowding and public health. So you need to have enough space. And what you can do as well to do that is to prove you can get your property assessed by an estate agent or someone who can do a property inspection report, which can show that your house is suitable. And the ECO, who's the entry clearance officer, must be satisfied that adequate maintenance and the required level of care can and will be met by the sponsor in the UK without recourse to public funds. So you need to demonstrate that. Right? Yeah. So in the guidance, we've got some examples, and I'm just going to give those examples so that you can just get a feel of what the rules say. So here's one. A person age 25, has a learning disability. That means that he cannot feed, wash, or dress himself. His parents have recently died in an accident, and the only surviving close relative is a brother in the UK. So I didn't go through all the different relatives, but siblings, siblings, parents, children, adult dependents. And the only surviving close relative is a brother in the UK who's a British citizen, and he's been sending money to the family for some time. The person has been cared for temporarily by family members since his parents' death, but they're no longer able to do this. So the sponsor is unable to meet the cost of full-time residential care, but he and his family have sufficient financial and other means to care for the applicant in their home. So this could meet the criteria if the applicant can demonstrate that they're unable, even with the practical and financial help of the sponsor, to obtain the required level of care in the country where they're living, because it's not available and there's no person in that country who can reasonably provide, or it's not affordable. So that's the type of, that would be a case that you can bring. So a person aged 30, living alone in Sri Lanka for many years. His parents are settled in the UK. Other siblings live in UK and USA. The person has recently been involved in a car accident, and as a result has developed long-term conditions, which means he can no longer care for himself. The mother's been visiting Sri Lanka to care for the son, and she also has to return to care for her younger children in the UK. This could meet the requirement. So it's sad, isn't it, that of course the rules are made for extreme situations where there is extreme. So it's extreme situations. So we've seen a brother, we've seen an adult son. So another example is a person age 70 lives alone in Zimbabwe. Her daughter lives in UK, son live in Dubai. And the daughter sends her mother money to pay for someone to do her cleaning, but is concerned that her mother is becoming increasingly frail and forgetful. And she thinks maybe she's got dementia. This would not meet the criteria, as the applicant is able to perform everyday tasks or has help available. So cleaning, day-to-day tasks like that, they wouldn't count. So another person, another example, somebody who's got diabetes, somebody who has got high blood pressure, somebody who's got arthritis, all of those, they wouldn't meet the criteria. They would not meet the criteria. Yeah. Another example is a person aged 85 who lives alone in Afghanistan. With the onset of age, he's developed very poor eyesight, which means that he has had a series of falls, and one resulted in a hip replacement. His only son lives in the UK, sends money to enable his father to pay for a carer to visit every day to help him wash and dress and cook the meals for him. This would not meet the criteria. Because the sponsor is able to give the required level of care in Afghanistan. So those are situations where they're just examples, but just examples that can give you the insight, because so that you know whether or not you meet into the relevant criteria. And I've often advised people to, when their elderly relatives can visit, they can visit and go back, visit here and return, making visitors visas applications. I remember recently we had a case where mom came during COVID. She ended up staying for 2 years, and had exceptional assurance. Because of the pandemic, they couldn't travel back. So when that period finished, the family asked for advice. What should we do? Should we try and get mum to stay, or should she go back? She wasn't unwell. She was just elderly, 65, fit. And my advice to families in this situation is, let them go back, and then they can reapply to come back. And if you've shown that you've stuck to the conditions of your visa, you've come, you've visited, you go back, you can then apply for longer term, like not long term, but multiple entry visitors visas. So 2 years, 5 years, and 10. It doesn't mean you can stay here for 2 years, 5 years, and 10. It means that you can come in and out as long as you make your country of origin your primary home, but you can come and visit in and out as long as you have the ability to travel. Some people have situations where parents come and visit, then get sick whilst they're here, maybe have a stroke, or get diagnosed with a terminal illness, and you are unable to send them back because there's no one to care for them, and they've developed this illness whilst they're here. In those circumstances, you can apply. You would not be applying for indefinite leave to remain, but you can apply for a discretionary leave. So you can apply based on your circumstances, but it does still have to be quite exceptional, and to be a situation where going back would be a breach of their human rights, and you wouldn't be able to show that they can receive the care that they need in their country of origin, and they've got no one there to look after them. And I've advised many people in that situation and successfully been able to get leave to remain for them, 30 months leave to remain, to be able to stay. But it's difficult to get permanent residence. But the Home Office would give leave to remain where something has happened, where your parents came here fit and healthy, and then either had a stroke, an accident, or were diagnosed with a terminal illness. Then you are able to then get advice, and the threshold is not as high as the threshold for when you are coming from abroad to make an application for entry clearance as an adult dependent. So I hope that's clarified some of the questions that people may have, some of the type of questions that we've been getting. So if you do need further advice, you can book a quick 3-minute chat. We have on Tuesdays, we provide a series of slots for people to book in just for some quick advice. That's free. But we also have paid for consultations, which are longer, where you can ask more questions. And if you go onto our website, you're able to access that and book in there. We also are able to give you that information for you. You can contact our website. Just contact us on there, and we can be able to set you up an appointment or give you more information on there. Or you can WhatsApp for an appointment on the number that's on the screen. Don't call, please just text on WhatsApp, and we can send you the link for you to book your appointment on there. If you just WhatsApp to say, I'm requesting an appointment, we can then respond and give you the link so that you can book an appointment. We're unable to just take calls on there. Please text, because our team is inundated with calls all the time. So we can quickly respond with a link on that number. So Thank you very much. Please do go on our website. If you don't need any immigration advice, you don't need anything, you're sorted, you're okay, but you might know someone who do, please share this video. If you feel that, you know what, I actually want to help others, please donate to our work. We're doing fantastic work. We are starting some crowdfunding for people who are really struggling to live with the high cost of the increase in the cost of living, people who are waiting for their immigration status. So I'll be talking about some of the other fantastic work that we're doing and introducing our fundraising appeals. We want you guys to stand with us and help us. You know, I've seen how people have stood together to work and support people from all over the world who are going through difficulties. And we have people here in the UK who are going through absolutely horrendous situations. And we want to be able to stand together and help. So we're going to be launching our fundraising appeal to do crowdfunding for some of the people that we encounter who are unable to access any of the statutory services here, who just fall through the gaps and there's no one to catch them. And we are here to be able to do that. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting us. Please visit our website. Please share this video. Please donate to our work via our website and support us in any way that you can do. Check out our volunteer vacancies that are on our website and keep a lookout for opportunities via our website. Thank you very much. Have a really blessed weekend.